Shooting USA is brought to you by SnapSafe. Use promo code SUSA15 for 15% off. And by HiViz. See what you've been missing.
Well, it's that time again. Another Shooting USA update. I figured we'd take this one outside because it's partly cloudy. There's some blue skies in there. We haven't seen that in Nashville in quite a while. So here we are. Get that situated. It was the debut of a new show last night. Engine Company 2's headed out. It was a debut of a new show last night, the NRA America's Rifle Challenge. Here's a clip.
Not all of the courses of fire will have a long-range component. Some will be more focused on close-in targets with movement, and props are always welcome, making stage design part of the fun. For NRA board member Knox Williams, the inclusion of suppressors is a nice addition.
This is exactly what we need to get new shooters into shooting with an AR practice. I think it's truly fantastic, and I'm really glad that they're doing it. And really think that it's awesome that they're incorporating suppressors into the competition platform as well.
Knocking the noise down a few decibels is always a good thing. NRA Executive Director Josh Savani is fully enjoying the use of his can, running and gunning, and making long-range hits. He knows the importance of this new competition format.
Definitely important. I mean, we haven't had a more modern shooting discipline, in a very long time. And it's definitely something that focuses on the most popular rifle in the country, the AR-15. And that's why it's called America's Rifle Challenge. And we want to make it more accessible to new shooters as well. That's why we have the two levels.
This is just the beginning of the inclusivity of this new sport.
Impact! Longtime friend Chad Barber was match director and the co-creator of this new format. Here's Chad. Last night, Chad, as you know, was the debut premiere of the NRA ARC, America's Rifle Challenge episode on Shooting USA. What went well? Tell me what you, as one of the developers of this, saw that you really liked on the ground at the event.
We really liked the fact that there was a lot of new shooters there. But more importantly, we had experienced shooters to be able to give us that feedback, which everybody is excited right away for the level 1 portion of this, because it's going to draw in those new shooters and provide that training aspect for it. And I think that worked out really well. And what a great venue at Camp Atterbury. There's so much diversity of type of terrain and ranges and the distances that we get to get. So I think the capacity is really excellent there.
Yeah, I think it, and fighting a little bit of early spring weather was kind of an issue, but the place holds up really, really well. By and large, the reaction was very positive for us on the ground as we were working with everybody there. You talk about anything that may have evolved out of that first sort of all systems check event.
Well, not really an evolution, but just a continuation. Right now, if you go to arc.nra.org.org, you can download our provisional rulebook. We did make some changes based on some of the things that we observed there. One of the things that we have to include into the level 1 is a movement portion. So though last night you didn't see any of the movement in the state level 1 portion of the courses, we now do have some advancement, because that's a critical skill for people to have that own AR style rifles, or the fact that this isn't just, we call it America's Rifle. It's based on the AR-15 platform, but we want everybody to know that their semi-automatic, gas-operated, magazine-fed rifles in the certain calibers that are listed are available to participate in this event. We don't want to exclude anybody because they don't own that, because there are states and regions and locations that unfortunately restrict our American Second Amendment rights and don't allow us to use those. So we want this to be an approachable, modular sport, whether you're on a 25-yard range, an indoor range, or a nice 100-yard facility, or a facility like Atterbury that has distances out to 600 yards, although we're not going to shoot that with iron sights. So, but I think it was really fun, and we had a chance to test with the concept of PCCs, which everybody loves. That's the pistol caliber carbine, which is great because now we can shoot at steel as close as 10 yards. The rimfire aspects can be really exciting. And then, of course, we had our experienced folks who really wanted to get out there and hammer it with the pistols and the rifles and do that run and gun stuff. So I think it really encompasses it all. But the big picture, and we talked about this last night with some other folks, is the funnel aspect of it. There's a lot of stovepipes within the industry. Doesn't matter what industry you're in, they all have their little niches. If you enjoy cowboy action shooting, that's awesome. If you enjoy the International Defensive Pistol Association, that's great. If you enjoy the Precision Rifle Series, awesome. We want to do is be the big end of that funnel to draw people in, because some people kick back and they say competition shooting's too intimidating. I'm not good enough for competitive shooting. This isn't what we're trying to attract. We're trying to attract those people who are in the booth, on the bench, and what's their next step. Rather than just going and plinking, what's the value they're going to get out of their enjoyment of their time, their resources. And for just 5 boxes of ammo, 100 rounds, they can go out and shoot a level 1 course, get some good training with it at clubs all across the country. So sorry for the big word salad, but what do you got for me next, John?
No, that's it. That's exactly what I've been putting in front of the audience essentially my entire career, and that is the safe competitive arenas for shooting sports of all disciplines primarily will benefit you in your safe gun handling. It just naturally ingrains safe gun handling, and that is the core of this. That's what I think is going to be so popular here is, like you said, the approachability, but then secondly, the training piece, the inherent learning of gun handling skill. And at the same time, it's the level 2 version of America's Rifle Challenge is welcoming to all skill levels. So you will see some of the elite guys out there pushing the time, going for the accurate hits, really trying to burn down stages. And these stages are challenging at that level. And then they're welcoming, but still challenging for the new shooter, the amateur, into the novice, into the next level, club level guys. And at the same time can be adapted to any range going forward. So we're going to be seeing club level matches start to kick off here in another month or so towards August as this thing goes live.
That's exactly what we're hoping for. We want people to, right now, go download that provisional rulebook, review it, take it to their clubs, take it to their boards, take it to their local range. Even if it's a commercial facility, take it there and say, hey, look, I want to shoot this here. Is this possible? Will you host this, once a month? Will you host it once a quarter? And as people start to see people come into it, invite others in the fun and safe aspect of it, and the learning and the camaraderie that happens, because iron sharpens iron, right? We're going to get out there. You're never just going to be good enough unless you go out and start getting that stone on it and rubbing it across the grind. People are going to get better at it. And when they get better at it, then they have more fun. But the biggest picture, though, is it's going to be different levels, not just the level 1 and 2, but different levels of training, but then different levels of competition. We know there's going to be people who only want to shoot and travel in their local region and shoot clubs, and that's awesome. But more importantly, now we're going to have state championships, regional championships, and of course our national championships. So now you can progress through there and throughout your entire shooting career, even as an amateur, and still go have fun and travel the country a little bit and see the world and enjoy the sport with others like-minded individuals.
Big things to come from the new NRA, and it's an exciting time to really see a new shooting sport format geared towards the tens of millions of people who have these rifles and really have no other outlet, really haven't taken it any further than just getting the thing and maybe sighting it in. And very, very excited and so incredibly honored to be a part of it. Thanks again, Chad. It's great.
We're glad to have you aboard, John. Really appreciate what you're doing for the community. And I can't wait to get out there and have you shoot with us again like you used to in the old days.
Well, I stand by what I say. The shooting sports is the best place to learn safe gun handling. It just happens naturally. And this new one-gun rifle format, whether it's centerfire rifle or PCC or their future for the rimfire, this really works. This is going to be cool. If you're interested in putting together a club level match, they're ready to support. There'll be a link in the bio. If you've been paying attention to any of these update shows, you know by now the U.S. showed very, very well at the IPSC PCC World Shoot. And our second guest for today, Jalise Williams, is part of the gold-winning women's team. Champion.
World champion.
Jalise Williams is with us. Jalise, welcome to the Shooting USA Update Show. Thank you for taking the time to jump on Riverside with me. It's brilliant to see you. You look fantastic.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. So excited to see you again.
Yeah. we've known each other a long, long time, since you and Justine were the blue and green Power Rangers back in the day. And now, I mean, it's been a thrill for me to watch your career develop, and you have actually attained a world championship, and that's really what I want to talk about. Your whole experience at World Shoot, in the PCC, teaming up with Linda and Lena and Lanny and, you know, the 3 L's and the J. I want to know all about that experience, because you guys went up against the world and came out on top, gold medals. So, you know, tell me about it.
We had a fantastic World Shoot, and this was such a great team because all 4 of us have spent a lot of time, not just in the shooting sport, but shooting a lot of the same division, shooting a lot of the same matches together. So we've known each other for a very long time. So having that dynamic where we know each other and we're very comfortable with each other, and we're sharing tips and tricks on how to attack stages, even before we got to the World Shoot. Training together and sharing what works for us and helping each other, building each other up in order to win a gold medal. And we ended up winning a gold medal, which is freaking awesome.
It doesn't get better than that. Gold medal against the best in the world from all of the other countries. But what I like about this idea is the team atmosphere. So this is not like a PCC nationals where individuals are, you know, out for their own. This is very much a team situation. So there's a lot of breaking down stages, working together to find the best stage plans and so on. You know, talk more about that.
Yes. So there's the team gold medals. Medals just in general up for grabs, as well as individual medals. So yes, this is still an individual sport, but all of your individual scores get added up together to create the team score. So yes, there's a lot going into it, and we, of course, wanted to beat each other for the individual, but we came together prior into every stage, working together as a team, because that's something we could all agree on is, we're going to place where we're going to place individually, but no matter what happens, we are walking out of there with a team gold. And it was very successful. It was almost 1,000 points onto the silver medalist team. So I would say we went above and beyond to win that gold medal, and having such a close and team dynamic, I think, really helped us more than us just going out and doing it individually. I've competed at previous world shoots in shotgun and rifle, and even Pan American games in pistol on teams, and it's never had this close dynamic of building each other up and helping each other throughout the entire world shoot process. So this was very special to me, and it's definitely a goal of mine going into future world shoots to have a similar dynamic, because it was really fun and we're all really close, and we were able to get super close throughout this process. It was just fantastic.
Yes, I think a lot of that comes through in the video production over on Lena's channel. You guys all worked together for the training cycle leading into it. They were there in Utah, and then throughout the match, they brought it in kind of a blog style, kind of an experience style coverage of the match. Talk about working with them and, you know, being a part of that.
Yeah, so Lena's team was so great. She had this great idea of doing this blog-like style of training leading up to World Shoot, and then trying to do everyday updates throughout the entire World Championship, including opening ceremonies to throughout the entire match, stage by stage, to closing ceremonies. I think it was a fantastic idea, and it was really great, and I really loved that idea, because, you know, those of us who have people at home in the US that couldn't make it, that couldn't see us, every stage and help us along and stuff, they could see the next day how we did the previous day. They could see the dynamic, they could see our attitudes and our energy, to see how we were doing, because text message, videos, stage videos you're sending back to your people in the US, that can only do so much. So having her and her team do that was really cool and just very, very special to those of us, our family, our friends at home, just waiting by the phone for an update. And even her coverage prior to the World Championship was really great. I was very happy I had the idea last year at PCC Nationals when we finished the qualification process and the team was basically announced at that point, and I got together with the team and the alternate. It was like, I would love to host everybody in St. George for like a week, so that we can all train together, we can help build each other up, we can help each other on those things that we don't quite understand, or we just want to gain that little bit of an edge, because we all bring something different to the table. Like, Lena is insanely accurate. Justine has this, and Justine, my sister, was on the men's team, but I invited her out of pure respect and, of course, love. And she has this amazing, efficient movement where she just never stops moving. Lanny has a really great balance where she knows when to push on a stage, when to not. Linda is very similar in that. She's just so aggressive. And then for me, I have just very super aggressive movement, and that was something Lena and I talked a lot about. So we all had something to bring to the table and help build each other up throughout that entire week. And we actually stayed on the range. I borrowed my uncle's trailer, and Lena, Lanny, Lena's camera woman, Sophia, and we all stayed in the trailer. And then Justine and Linda, they brought their dogs, so they had to stay in an Airbnb. But we were all out there just shooting our hearts out. We went through, I think, 5,000 rounds minimum throughout like 5 days or something. We were pushing hard. We were doing like a morning session and then like lunch and a quick nap because it's just exhausting, and then going out for an evening session as well. So it was fantastic, and we all grew so close. Like, I very happy that I got to know these incredible women outside of just competitors. So, I mean, that having that week of growing very close to each other and helping each other a lot, and then keeping that dynamic, keeping updating each other over text messages and phone calls, leading up to World Shoot was really great. And then going into World Shoot, just having each other's back there's no substitution for that. It's a team. When you're going for a team medal, it's a team sport. You lean on each other, you help each other, you rely on each other. Lanny was absolutely incredible. I mean, Olympian. She's an Olympian, and her mindset is incredible, and there's nothing like it that I've ever seen. So having her as like the rock in the river was really great, especially for the three of us, Linda, Lena, and I, we were having ups and down stages. I mean, it's a 30 stage match. You're gonna have good stages, you're gonna have bad stages, but Lanny was a rock. And she was just so good at keeping the energy high, keeping it the same, giving us advice. I really very thankful for her.
Man, that's awesome. All of this video, all of this production is over on Lena Michalak's Trigger Tribe YouTube channel. Very popular. She's got over 1 million subscribers. She is definitely leveraging new media and, frankly, taking her audience, that huge subscriber base, to a World Shoot where
I mean, the Czech Republic, admittedly, we can't go. Shooting USA, my operation, we can't do it. She can do it. They were able to do it, and I'm so thankful because I was able to follow along and watch y'all's successes and really push it in front of this audience as much as possible. And even better than that, I think you already touched on it, for you and the rest of the team, you now have all of that as chronicle for this tremendous accomplishment. You mentioned 30 courses of fire for this match. If I'm not mistaken, 5 days of shooting. Is that correct?
Yes. So the days of shooting are 6 days, but you shoot 6 stages per day. So you really only are shooting for 5 days, and you have 1 day off during that entire 6 days. So just depending on when that day off was for our team and our schedule, we had the first day off of World Shoots. So then after that, we shot for 5 days in a row. A lot of other people shot for maybe 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and then they would have their day off and then go back and shoot. So on our day off, we went to a neighboring range and we trained together, did some practice and everything, leading up to our first day, and that was really great. I kind of had an eye-opener experience, and I was like, oh shoot, why couldn't I have done this like a month ago? But it was really great, and it was like a girls' road trip up to it because it was like 2 hours away, so day trip. But it was really great that we got to do that and then feel really confident going into day one with a day's worth of practice behind us.
Talk about the courses of fire themselves. Challenging, about the same as what we're used to, typical? How would you characterize the match as a whole?
It's definitely IPSC flavor, where it does highlight a little bit more accuracy, but because this is a world shoot, I mean, everybody's pushing for time, of course, so finding that middle ground was kind of difficult. I kind of found it a little bit day 3-ish for me. I was shooting a little too conservatively, and then watching scores, I was like, okay, now's the time. I'm feeling comfortable. Now's the time to actually push. And it worked very well for me. And I think everybody else kind of had the same experience. But the stages, I mean, there's so many short courses in IPSC. They follow the 3-2-1 rule. So for every long course, and for PCC, I think it can go up to like 45 rounds. So you're going to have a reload in it. And then for every long course, you have 2 mediums and 3 short courses. So the match is just filled with short courses. But the great thing that they did with the short courses, the match directors and match designers, is that they had big shooting areas where you had to go like corner to corner. You had difficult shots. You had hard stops. You'd be like blowing through like 2 targets that were like 7 yards, and then you'd have like a 20-yard tiny piece of steel out there. And so it was a lot of respecting targets when you needed it, and that's very IPSC. But I really enjoyed that. It was very dynamic. It was very, push and pull yourself back, and then push and then just barely pull yourself back. So that's really fun to watch how other competitors attack a stage like that, which there were so many of them. See how they do it compared to like the style of the US shooters, because a lot of us in the US, we shoot very similar. It's just very high impact. We're running our hearts out, we're pushing really hard, versus a lot of international shooters, they prioritize accuracy a lot. They prefer to stand and shoot, whereas we want to shoot on the move. We want to bring the time down. So it was really interesting to watch other squads, but especially on the squad we were shooting with an international another international women's team, and see what their dynamic was, not just between their team, but also how they were shooting and what their flavor was. So I find that fascinating.
I love it. The Czech Republic weather this time of year, did anything like that come into play, or was it just simply even keel, and as soon as I start to feel it in the match, I'm going to put my foot on the gas and close this thing out?
I mean, the weather was strange, I would say. I mean, in the U.S., we were at the time frame where everything's starting to heating up. You're bringing your shorts out, your tank tops out. You're pretty darn cold. Warm and hot in certain places. And when we went over to check, it rained every single day, and it was quite chilly. And a lot of us had to go to the stores in nearby towns to try and find leggings to put underneath our pants because we were freezing, or oversized big jackets to try and keep warm and everything. So the weather definitely did play a little bit of part of it, but it wasn't like snowing. It was just very cool weather compared to what the rest of us have been in for the last couple months.
I see. So the overall, I mean, I see the photos that get posted. I see some of the videos that have been posted of like the awards ceremony, for instance, and it's literally the list of the best practical shooters in the U.S., and everybody's up on stage one time or another, from the super seniors all the way through the men's team. Everybody's up there. We are clearly a driving force in the international version of practical shooting. How important for you is it in your career to hear the national anthem and have an American flag and have a gold medal at the same time? How big of an accomplishment is that?
I would say the biggest. There is no bigger glory than winning a gold medal and holding your flag on a podium and listening to the national anthem. I can remember my first world shoot and standing on that podium and listening to it, and I was nearly in tears, and this time I was nearly in tears again because I had such a great team that I was so proud of all of us. It was fantastic, and I mean, this is our Olympics. Our sport isn't in the Olympics, so we create our own. So every year there's a world shoot for a different platform of gun. PCC has its own world shoot now. This was the first world shoot, so this really hit home for a lot of us from the US. This is the first one. We've been waiting for it for a couple of years because of the whole COVID debacle. And the qualification process was 5 years long. It was a lot. And we all, as a whole, I think we all put a lot of pressure on ourselves for it. And I think there was only one team out of all the teams that the US sent that didn't medal. So we had a lot on gold medals. We had a couple on silver, a couple on bronze, but we truly dominated the teams that we sent, more than other countries. It was fantastic. There's nothing better than, even if you're not on that stage with a gold medal, watching others that you've shot with for years, that you know that this means as much to them as it does to you when you're standing up there. It just brings everybody together so much. There's like no great way to describe it. It just fills your heart. It just feels like you're completely full. And it's
I think you nailed it. I think our sport is not in the Olympics, so we made our own Olympics. Sums it all up right there. And it is even a nice little cherry on top to have Lainey Barnes, former Olympic biathlete, on the team. To have that, like you said, you have the rock, and I think some of that may come from her prior experience on the Olympic stage in biathlon.
Yeah, there's so much everybody could learn from her.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and that's just an experience piece, and the beauty of it is she's there to share it. The next thing coming is going to be Handgun Nationals, not this coming weekend, but next weekend. And I'm sure, where are we going to see you in that? What division are you going to run there?
I'll be shooting single stack. Yay.
Lovely.
I'm back on my single stack. I'm so excited to be back on it. PCC was fun and everything. It was definitely a grind, but you don't know how much you miss something until it's gone. So it's good to be back. It feels like home. I'm doing a lot of fundamental training because, I just got back. I've had a lot of events since. I went straight from PCC World Shoot, flew straight into Alabama for World Speed Shoot, had 2 days at home, taught a women's class, and then flew out that night to Area 1. Like, this is my first week back in a month. And then Friday, I leave for a shotgun World Shoot qualifier. So, for me, training those fundamentals is going to help me the most because I've been off of it for months. I know my movement is there because the movement's very similar to PCC, especially in trying to keep the dot stable throughout the movement. So the movement is great, stage planning is great, that's subconscious at this point. We just need to build up the fundamentals as much as possible between now and then and hopefully do well. I'm trying to keep my expectations realistic because I haven't been on it as much as everybody else has.
Well, we'll be there as always, and we'll be watching because, you're important to the audience. People love you. And
nice.
Speaking of the audience, we've got another couple of Colt pro tips to do later on this summer. I won't put you on the spot right now and ask you if you've come up with any subjects, but they're always crowd pleasers, especially when it's you and Justine adding that sisterly competitive element to the training piece. It just works naturally, and I think it translates and has translated in the real world to the success both of you have had throughout your careers, is just having that natural competitiveness and bringing that into the training. I absolutely love it. So can't wait for that. And yeah, that's everything I've got for you today. The people just are so incredibly proud. I know they are because I get the reactions, and we're pumped on it for you. So congratulations from me to you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
That means so much coming from you, John. Like, I wouldn't have a lot of the opportunities I have today if it wasn't for you.
Wow.
So I just want to thank you.
It's all good, dude. You've done the work. All I did was make a few phone calls.
Well, thank you again.
Good job. What a great interview. And like I said, we are headed to the Cardinal Shooting Center in Marengo, Ohio for the USPSA Factory Gun Nationals next weekend. We'll do some update show stuff from there. If you're in the area, definitely come check it out. If you don't have a slot in the match, it's waiting list for you at this point. It's sold out. Well, that's it for this one. Remember, share your sport.